Welcome to Mystery Minor Schools Edition. I'm your host, Theo. Today we're going to be talking about the cursed poem called Tomino's Hell. So my spooky friends, sit back, relax, go grab a nice cup of tea, and let's get ready to get scared. Tomino's Hell is a poem that was published in 1919 by Saijo Yaso in his collection of poems called Sakin, which means gold dust in English. Not much is known about Yaso, except that he was a university professor and lived in France for a while, studying at the Sorbonne. His work was mainly for children, though even his later works contain many unsettling images and concepts, such as those in Tomino's Hell. Tomino's Hell is a symbolic journey of a character named Tomino through hell, with plenty of disturbing and creepy imagery. There are various urban legends about deaths that supposedly surround the poem, which has given it cult popularity. Although there is no exact date as to how or when the urban legend came to be, some legends include the death of a filmmaker named Terayama Shuichi, who directed a movie in 1974, which was reportedly based loosely on the poem. There are other iterations of the legend that states whoever reads the poem out loud may not die, but could suffer terrible bad luck or sickness after they read it. These instances include stories of those who have suffered falls, permanent voice loss, car accidents, and sudden illnesses. When you read this cursed poem out loud, people say you'll suffer a great deal or die a tragic death. One story involves a young schoolboy, Taro, who once held a battered copy of the Tomino's Hell poem, while other boys in his class jeered him, calling him chicken unless he dared to read the poem out loud. The oldest boy in the class shouted, "Do it!" to Taro, who finally read the poem out loud with a shaky voice. As Taro seemingly did not die, his classmates laughed at their belief in the cursed poem. However, on his walk home from school, Taro was struck dead by a truck whose driver had fallen asleep at the wheel. The legend says that Taro was taken away to meet Tomino on their journey to hell. During the 1980s in Japan, it was trendy to film friends while they recited a particular poem out loud. Despite the popularity of this trend, there were no reported consequences for reciting the poem. However, it appears that the curse associated with the poem can strike at any time, and it may even be a scheme that is not fully understood. Nowadays, even the most knowledgeable and experienced individuals in Japan avoid mentioning the poem due to the fear that it may bring them bad luck. Another legend claims that Yaso was not the actual author of the poem, and that it was actually written by a young girl or boy named Tomino. After supposedly writing this disturbing poem, Tomino was punished by being locked up in a cellar without any food until their death due to bronchitis, onset by the cold and humidity of the cellar. The legend says that Tomino's angry spirit was therefore imprinted in the words of the poem, evoked if someone were to read the poem out loud. It's important to note that reading this poem may have consequences. In 1974, a movie called To Die in the Countryside was released, which was written and directed by Terayama Shuichi. The film was heavily influenced by the poem and sufferings of Tomino. 9 years after the release of the film, Terayama suddenly passed away, and his death was attributed to the curse associated with the poem, which was also believed to have cursed the film. In 1998, a Japanese writer and filmmaker named Inuhiko Yomata published a book titled The Heart is Like a Rolling Stone, which included the poem and its warning. The publication once again brought the old legend of the cursed poem to the forefront of the media. Subsequently, the poem gained widespread attention, and people began posting videos of themselves reciting the poem on the internet. Many of them posted follow-up messages to say that they were not cursed, while others never returned to provide an update. Thank you for watching today's episode of Mystery Miners Ghost Edition. Make sure you catch us next week for another scary story on MI Radio.